Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. We're going to do a quick review of this guy right here. This is the Medford Slim Midi. But before we get into that, please like the video and subscribe. Please follow the Instagram and like the Facebook page. Alright, let's go ahead and get into just some size comparisons. And most of these are going to be knives in the same price range, except for two just well known, and most likely most of you guys have one or both of these in your collection, so it's just a good size comparison. But let's start out with the XM18 3.5 inch. There you go. Very similar size. Obviously the XM18 3.5 inch is larger on almost every dimension. If you go by the pivot, which is kind of what I would normally go by, being the center of the knife. But overall, we're just kind of pushing these against each other, kind of like butt to butt there. It's significantly larger. One thing to take note though is the blade are pretty darn similar in length. Cutting edges, obviously, because this is a no choil. This does have more blade, more actual cutting edge here. Just to kind of take that into note. Another one, which is the same size as the one I just showed you. This is the SNG here, the Strider SNG. So you can kind of get another idea of the overall length here difference. Now let's go with the obvious next one, which would be the Sabenza 31. Obviously similar kind of feel there, right there. Okay. Now, ones that I know you probably have in your collection, so you can kind of get a better idea of size. Lined up with the cutting edge. This has more cutting edge. Handle. In a way, the Slim Midi has a similar, ergonomic lines. In a smaller package, quote unquote smaller package or shorter package, but also has more cutting edge. So, and more, or at least, yeah, slightly more blade length. And then the next, most of you probably have some form of the 940 in your collection. This is actually a really great comparison because these are pretty much identical in almost every way. Amount of cutting edge, amount of handle. Obviously on the Slim Midi you can choke up, so that does have an advantage, though the 940 is going to be lighter, so easier to carry. But these are also not knives in the same price category at all. So obviously there are a lot of things to talk about here. The main thing is, like, a lot of people give Medford in particular as a company crap because they quote unquote make super thick knives. This guy, Sabenza, the blade stock is thinner. You can see that. Thinner than a Sabenza. Slightly. And the whole profile is actually thinner. So just to kind of start off there. Simple pocket clip, you will hear that clicking. That can bother some people. Open the knife slightly, clicking is gone. It just is to make the pocket clip slide in and out easier, but also still have a decent amount of traction on your pocket. Take that however you want to. This particular one is S45 VN, which is one of my favorite steels in a pocket knife, to be honest. Super well rounded. This one was picked up at Blade Show. If you saw my Blade Show unboxings, this was in that haul that I got from the 2023 Blade Show. So was this. This was actually not in the original video, but regardless. So yes, it's thin. I like the whole gear design on it. I like the ergos. This is probably my favorite Medford model, is the Marauder. So the Midi Marauder. I like this one a lot. And yes, let's see here. How to do this on camera. It does slice just fine. That was phone book paper. Yes, they still make phone books. If you were curious, but so there's a lot of like negativity towards this company. A lot of it is unjustified. Some of it is justified to a degree. Some of it is just personal opinion. That's fine. But regardless, the reality is this is a really great design, really great knife. It slices, it has good action. It's obviously not your flick out, which some people dislike, some people like. It kind of just depends. I do like the black on bronze of this guy in particular. That's one of my favorite color combinations overall. Yeah, I just like, there's not much negative to say, to be honest. Spine whack, I have done that a million times. Also, putting some pressure on here. That was actually my shoulder, if you heard that, and not the knife. It can take it. But this particular knife, with how thin it is, you won't be doing anything super aggressive with this anyways. This is a great slicer. This is a great EDC knife. That's bottom line. It's thin. It's super easy to pocket. It's you barely notice it. It's fairly light too. Thin, light, and slicey. Straightforward. If you are looking, if you like the design of the Marauder, but you want something slicey, very slicey, this is what I would recommend. Like, no question. And so that's personally why I have one with the Slim, is because I wanted to have a design but have it super functional, and this is that. Functional, slim, and I like the design. Straightforward. It's not much else. I mean, pocket clip is very simple. Design is very simple. There's been a lot of reviews of this out there. It holds up. It has good action. I mean, it's smooth. It's only going to get smoother. I do like that they went to the hex, or Torx heads now, so you can take it apart at your own leisure if you really want to. I know there's a lot of like controversy, warranty. Basically, in the end, take it apart. You don't mess it up, you're fine. You obviously, with anything, if you abuse anything, take it apart and put it back together wrong, and then you mess something up on your own. That's not Medford's fault or any company's fault, to be honest. It's your fault for messing it up. I do know that some companies are more relaxed about that, and those are the companies that I would say have a fantastic warranty, but actually have a warranty that goes above and beyond, and that's great. But I understand that if you take it apart, you do run the risk regardless of messing it up, and that's on you. But at the same time, part of me is like, well, I wish they would still cover that, stuff like that. So either way, if you want a Medford that is thin, slicey, performs, and looks good, this is obviously what I'd recommend. If you're watching this video, you're more than likely interested in a Marauder, or at least a Slim Midi. And if you're interested and you're looking and you're curious, I would 100% try one out. They're fantastic. They really are. Out of American-made knives, I think the Slim Midi makes my top 20 out of American-made knives that are in my collection. I should specify that. Now, obviously, that list is broad, and I believe excludes customs. So if we get into custom, that's a whole different thing. But it's a quality knife, flat out. Good steel, titanium, frame lock, super slicey, well done. I don't see any sharp corners or cut corners. I don't see any laziness. I just see good work. Simple, straightforward design that is very functional. Here's the funny thing is, there is more to say about people's perception of Medford than this knife. Why? Because this knife, like I said, is simple, straightforward design. It's a great easy design. It's lightweight, it pockets well, it slices well, it performs well, it has great steel. Like, there's nothing really to add. I only have one criticism about this. I know I just said I like how they swapped to actual hex and Torx heads, but these are very, very shallow. Very shallow. They're not very deep. At least the pivot specifically. That's my criticism. That's it about that. See, there's another criticism. It's pretty obvious, and it's this right here. So the little tang of the blade, a little lock where the lock bar hits, is protruding past the scales. So if you do drop it like that, there is a chance that it messes up that and it causes issues. That is a possibility. Unlike Strider, this whole area here is below that, so it would be almost impossible for that to actually get damaged. It would be very, very hard, or a really weird circumstance. So those are my two gripes, but that's actually not necessarily about this particular knife. That's just more Medford across the board. Has those two issues. The one benefit from them doing it like this is the blade to handle ratio is one of the best in my collection, period. It's better than even my sheer Goroffs. It's really close to a 50-50 ratio. Hard to do, very hard to do, and they did it, but part of that is because of this. And so there's a benefit and a negative to both sides. So it depends on which one outweighs the other, in your opinion, and it is what it is. But that's really all I have for this video here. If you like this review, please like the video, subscribe, and also please again follow Instagram and like the Facebook page. And I'll see you guys in the next one.